Hi everybody. Okay. It's really early and really cold. So you're getting me like this for now. All right. I did get to see Hell's Kitchen season 12 yesterday, and I thought about seeing season 13 so I could do chronological order, but I kind of ran out of time and I decided to have a little bit of a life for myself. So, but I did see season 12 and it was really interesting because, as usual, 18 contestants enter and only one's going to win, right? But you don't know who's going to win at all. Like, if you think you have a clue, you don't. And if you go by the pictures in the introduction, then sometimes they make it clear who the winner is, like by putting them last, and sometimes they don't do that. So the winner was a guy named Scott, but his picture is like somewhere in the middle. So unless you see the season beforehand, you don't know. You have no clue. Um, Something interesting about his journey was he did not do well at all. He was up for elimination a lot. And somehow Gordon Ramsay kept him around a long time, like long enough for him to get into the groove. But I didn't think he was going to win at all because he made a lot of mistakes. Um, he he didn't know, like he looked like he didn't know what he was doing a lot. And I mean, I understand that's common when you first get in the kitchen and say you haven't been in the kitchen before, but you kind of go into the show with the premise that at least most of these people, if not all of them, have at least been in a kitchen before, and they're usually chefs to some degree. Now, some are line cooks and some are executive chefs or whatever, but they're all aware of how to cook. So then you can kind of go into any season with that expectation of they at least know the basics. Well, some people do, some people don't. The sad part was, of course, like I said before, they split the they split the people into women versus men, red and blue. Okay. Now I always want women to win because like everything else, most industries are male dominated, so it's kind of hard sometimes for a woman to advance because she's a woman. So you know, there were a couple of women there that were really good. Well, actually, there was one woman there that I kind of felt bad for because she was in her 40s and she had the thought that she wasn't advancing because she was a woman in the South. And finally, when Gordon let her go, he said she thinks she's not advancing because she's a woman in the South, but I think it's because she can't cook. And I'm like, ouch, that hurt. But yeah, like she was making a lot of mistakes. And there was one time where um, I saw where she looked frazzled completely, and I'm like, this is not good. So that was kind of a foregone conclusion, her elimination. But there were a couple of women in there that were really good, but I feel like they gave up on themselves. There was this one woman, younger woman, 25 at the time. Um, she was really good, really good. And Gordon gave her praise and, you know, initiative to do good and everything. And then she made one mistake, one. And she's like, I quit. I can't. One thing, and she gave up. She literally said, I can't. Imagine me screaming, but saying, I can't do this anymore. I give up. She threw her apron to the side. She took off her jacket, everything. She's like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm like, all right. I mean, I get it, but then also, I guess part of it was she felt like whatever she did wasn't good enough. So then when you go from that mental space, it's probably not going to end well for you. Um, yeah. So, and then what's also interesting about season 12 is that in season 9, there was a contestant. His name was Jason. The reason I don't give you last names is because they don't give last names. Um, Jason was in season 9. Problem with Jason was he didn't even get to the first service. He had some kind of medical something, dehydration, I think it was, and he was eliminated due to medical reasons. So he came back 3 years later, season 12. And so I kind of knew the face, but I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that guy. So I was rooting for him because I knew he was good, or I kind of figured he was really good. And I was like, all right, I want him to win. But then I Scott just had drive that Jason had at some points, but not the whole time. So I see why Scott won. But Jason was really good. I mean, it's not like, oh yeah, I know why he lost because he was really bad. It wasn't like that. He was really good. Um, but he just kind of gave up mentally at some points. Not totally, but still. And like any other job that you really want to do, you have to be in it the whole time. You know, not give up, keep doing it even when you don't know what you're doing, that kind of thing. Have, well, I was explaining this to my friend um, that you have to have the kind of thing where you believe beyond anybody else that you're going to do it, you're going to make it, whatever. You have to have that. And it can become slightly obsessive, slightly whatever, where people think, oh, what's wrong with her or him or whatever. But you have to have that. And nobody else can give you it. That's the problem. I mean, people can tell you keep going and all this stuff and be encouraging, but you have to do it ultimately. So that's what I reminds me of. So yeah. Yeah, so there's your recap. Yeah, so when he won Scott, I was like, all right, yeah, I get it. I was happy that he won, so yeah. Okay, so my plan today is I'm gonna do at least one more video about the court case, and then I'm gonna watch season 13, and I'll give you the recap of that too. I might try to do some soap stuff if I can gather something up, because I've had some thoughts, so I kind of want to put them down so I don't forget them, you know, and so it doesn't get lost in the hustle and bustle of the week. All right, bye guys.